of those, I'll open the floor up to them to provide some background from the issue. As you recall, the Kapiolani Village project was that affordable housing project over by Date Street and Kapiolani Boulevard that would be displacing a number of walk-up apartment buildings. And even though Kapiolani Place is considered an affordable project, it's concerned that it's not truly affordable. The truly affordable units that are there right now will be lost. So for those wishing to speak, you can step up to the mic and comment.
Hello, my name is Jasmine. You can call me Jazzy, and I'm one of the tenants that currently lives at Kapiolani Village. I just wanted to kind of represent us and start us off by sharing a couple of things about the Kapiolani project that's going to be landing right in our little set of apartments that are squished between Kapiolani High School and Kapiolani High School. So this Kapiolani Place development, it will have a 43-story tower and a 12-story tower housing 1,005 1 to 3 bedroom units. It'll have a 13-story parking garage with 1,670 parking stalls right along Kapiolani Boulevard. Using a law in Hawaii Revised Statutes Chapter 201H, this development was pushed through a mere 45 days after the developer proposed the project. Using the same law, City Council is allowing the project to break zoning laws around the building height by 270%. This is about 150 to 400 feet, and the floor area ratio by 450%. It is being paid for by $62.7 million taxpayer dollars in permit exemptions to the developer. There's been no consideration for environmental impacts, sewer capacity, or traffic impacts onto an already congested, Kapiolani Boulevard. It's also labeled as affordable housing, and 60% of the units are marketed towards those earning 80% to 140% AMI. Affordable one-bedroom units are 438 square feet, are priced at $370,600 to $557 and $800. A market rate one-bedroom, the size of 600 square feet, is priced at $685,000 to $780,000. After 10 years, all affordable units will expire and become market rate units. The landowner is Black Sands Capital, ran by BJ Kobayashi. The developer is a Kobayashi group ran by the Kobayashi family, the brothers BJ and Patrick Kobayashi, along with their father Bert Kobayashi. Black Sands Capital and the Kobayashi group, along with individuals of the Kobayashi family, have made thousands of dollars in donations to the City Council Zoning Committee members, with the largest donations going to Calvin Say, Tyler Dos Santos, and Radiant Cordero. 3 neighborhood boards, Diamond Head, Kapahulu, and Waikiki have all passed resolutions in opposition to this project for the above reasons. 19 two-story apartments, one of which I live in, are being demolished to make way for this project. 130 families are being displaced from Kapiolani Village for this affordable housing project. I think I've learned a lot more recently, thanks to the tenants union. And I've actually gone around and talked to some of my tenants, or the other tenants, my neighbors, about this project coming up and what they thought. And there's even some of them that still aren't really informed about the project. You weren't really told about the project how I had found out about this Kapiolani place was I was on the phone with my mom, who had found out the story on the news, and we were talking on the phone. She's like, "Oh, your home is getting torn down." Like, what are you talking about? She's like, "No, like it was on the news. It's being torn down." And I was like, "They didn't tell us that," but until a few days after that, we received notice that we would have to move out in September. So it's crazy because a lot of us don't know why it's happening, who is paying for it, who it was for, and nobody even questions like who is this considering in this project. The fact that the project wasn't barely an opportunity there wasn't an opportunity for public comment for most tenants living in Kapiolani villages for this project. And for many, it was a shock to learn that this whole huge building is going to be built in its place. And the craziest thing is that most of us that live in Kapiolani villages can't even afford this affordable housing. A lot of us who've kind of shared about what we make and the amount it would cost, we wouldn't be able to afford to live there. I know some of my neighbors who are moving to other states because they are priced out of parents. I have lived here. I was born and raised here. I went to Lunalila Elementary School across the way, and I feel like I have to have the option of going to a cheaper state to live, at least a better life. But I want to give the opportunity with those things in mind for my neighbors here to say their piece about what is going to happen with our community and the Kapiolani project.
All right, thank you for that. And just for those following, since we have heard kind of the story and background, just to make sure we're able to get through everyone. Just to try to summarize the comments as briefly as possible. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Pierre Watts, and I'm a member of the Village Apartments. And we're all going to get displaced. 130 apartment units for affordable housing that appears to be not affordable. If you look at the average income that you have to afford this place. And the whole theme of the night was speaking of homelessness and people being displaced. And if you're subsidizing a program that's not going to work for the community, then what are you subsidizing? Who are you helping? If the contractor is going to make tens of millions of dollars to build affordable housing, I mean, it's just not right. It's not right. Everybody should take a hit. You know what I mean? From the city council members to everyone should take a hit. If they're going to build affordable housing, why should you make tens of millions of dollars? Yeah, you should make a profit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Nico Sylvester, and I am a resident of Kapiolani Village Apartments. I am here today to speak out against the construction of Kapiolani Place and the displacement of us residents. I would like to point out to the board and everyone in attendance information I learned recently about the relationship between members of the zoning committee. Matt Weir of District 2, also a member of the zoning committee, received $5,000 from Kobayashi and Black Sand Capital. Lastly, member Esther Kiaina of District 3 and member of the zoning committee received $6,000 from Kobayashi LLC and Black Sand Capital. Total political donations the zoning committee has received from the Kobayashi Group and Black Sand Capital totals to over $80,000, particularly from the 2020 to 22 election cycle. As a resident of Kapiolani Village Apartments in Honolulu County, it worries me that multiple members of the City Council and all members of the Zoning Committee has taken political donations from the Kobayashi Group and Black Sand Capital. How can we put trust in our elected officials to make the best, unbiased decisions for us when they have accepted money from the developers of Kapiolani Place?
Hello, my name is Allison, and I am a resident of the Kapiolani Village Apartments. I want to emphasize the fact that this is not affordable housing at all. It's just another gentrification project. And I want to talk about the ripple effects about pushing residents from these actual affordable housing right now. I'm looking to get a job as a nurse aide. As we know, nurse aides are severely paid, about like $15 to $20, maybe with $20 being on the higher end. If you think about it, nurse aides, we can barely afford to live here, yet we are an integral part of the medical community. There's a reason why nurse aides there's so many openings, however, our community is hurting for nurse aides because we can barely live here. So to push us out of the affordable housing with this project, it's going to displace us. We're not going to be able to work if we're not being paid enough and if we can't even afford to live here.
Hi, I'm Donna Reneses. I'm one of the older residents of Kapiolani Village. Only about a year ago, my husband and I had to leave one of the condos along the LOI because the owner wanted the unit back. So we, for the first time in 21 years, had to go out into the rental market. And we saw the Kapiolani Village advertisements. It looked like it was a affordable and safe enough area for us, close enough to where we have lived for all this time. My husband's got serious health issues. I've got health issues now. We just got there. We were there 4 months, and a note gets on our door. There was never any warning in any way under any kind of discussions with the rental people, the property manager that rented these apartments, that they were planning to do this project. I saw on the building permit sites for sewer connections that the first application was done in October of 2021. Couldn't find anything on the building permit side of things because there's probably not going to be any because the developer managed to get the city council to exempt them from everything. No environmental impact, nothing. So, finding all of this out after we moved in there, which was a hard thing for us to do, especially for our condition, we thought this was a nice community and we love our neighbors, and it's, it's just really a shame, the disrespect to the kapuna. It's just really bad. I never thought this would happen.
Thank you to my neighbors who shared, and thank you for hearing us out. As tenants have been getting together over several community meetings to discuss the answers to these questions. Do the tenants of Kapiolani Village deserve truly affordable housing? Do the residents of Honolulu deserve truly affordable housing?
Yes.
Do we all deserve a say in what happens in our communities?
Yes.
If you've answered yes to all three, then please support us in our demands that follow. Demand number 1 to the City Council. We hope to ask for a public hearing with full attendance of City Council at a location of the Kapiolani Village tenants choosing at a time of the Kapiolani tenants choosing, with 2 weeks' notice to the public to attend and submit oral and written testimony. This hearing will be held to hear public opinion on the project and to hold the city and the developers accountable to the treatment of the Kapiolani Village tenants. To the Neighborhood Board, support our demand with a resolution asking for the same, along with an ask for an investigation to look into how campaign donations might have affected the decision-making behind this project. And to the public, to sign our petition and join our contact list to come and support us in future actions.
Thank you to the Kapiolani Village tenants for all of their preparation and for organizing their community and coming out here and speaking. I'm Nikhil. I'm with the Honolulu Tenants Union. We've been working with the Kapiolani Village tenants for the last couple months. I just want to urge everyone here, including the neighborhood board and all who've attended, to really support their demands, because let's face it, we've been sitting in this gym talking about all kinds of resolutions, but City Council ignores them. They ignored you guys. They ignored everyone's voices over here. And us talking over here is doing nothing, but the Kapiolani Village tenants are organizing their community and have shown up more than half. And we have more people on the Zoom as well. More than half of the meeting attendants here are here for this issue because of the organizing that this neighborhood has done. So that's the real power. We're not going to change anything sitting here in this gym talking about resolutions. We're taking action, so we appreciate everything the neighborhood board has done to help support the Kapiolani Village tenants with its resolution back when they made it, and also Diamond Head and Waikiki. But City Council ignored us. We have the numbers. We're going to keep going. So please come out to the next events. We're going to keep going. We're fighting this thing for the Kapiolani Village tenants. So please come out and support us. This is what works. And yeah, thank you. Last thing, we have a bunch of supporters, and I know everyone's afforded 2 minutes. We could have this meeting go till probably 12 p.m. tonight, but we're not going to do that. I do still want to give our supporters a chance to speak later on, but I just want to show everyone this is the level of support for this issue. We're not really here to have a back and forth or argue about whether this is right or wrong. We're just here to make a statement.
Thank you for that. We see a number of hands from the audience. And we'll go through them. Just want to point out, it's unfortunate that we're in this state when, this is the type of input needed up front before decisions are made. But I really do think it's very beneficial to hear from the affected community members and, good to hear you're taking action. So we'll start with Laura Ruby and then go to Joanne and then Cameron.
Yes, thank you. Yes, the neighborhood board did pass a resolution. When the neighborhood board was presented with this monster building, it was a done deal. Community input is important before anything is ever done on any property, so a town hall meeting should have been done to brainstorm for the community members. Second of all, I submitted a testimony in opposition of this monster home building, along with many other people. I submitted to the city council, and it was not posted on the city council board, yet some people that had favorable connections with the developers and the realtors testified for this large building. So it was never posted at all on the city council website. And then when it came time for vote, none of them even raised any questions or had any comments at all. They were just ready to go through with it. My concern is, of course, with the people being displaced. I am incredibly sad over that, I'm sure that Councilmember Say will say that he knew about this project before we ever did in the neighborhood board. And what I'd like to say is, Councilmember Say, that this, I'm talking to you specifically, and Janelle, you're on the web also. Please tell us what's happening to the next door neighbors. All those newly refurbished apartments, the walk-ups, they have been told that they are to be evicted also. They have to move out. What's happening? Why don't we know about this ahead of time? And why are we going to have our community turned into developer's paradise? Thank you very much.
Okay, so I am familiar with, I went to see the project, and like I said, I think it is a nice project. Who owns the land there? Who owns the land there?
Kobayashi. Black Sands.
Can somebody answer me that question?
Joanne,
Yeah.
this is Louis. I'm looking at the GIS right now, and it shows that it's owned by Kapiolani Investors, which is a branch of a company based out of Delaware. And they own all of the lands over there. I'm looking at each one of the parcels, and they basically absorb all of the parcels. And I'm just assuming by going through each one of them that this Kapiolani Investors is the one that actually sold the land to the Kobayashi.
Okay, so I mean, I understand their feeling as being renters and, you know, having their livelihood shifted, but things like this happen, and I like that building. I honestly do like the building. I went to see it. It's a beautiful building. I think it would enhance the neighborhood. We did take a lot of, like Hollywood Living. We do have transitional housing here. We have taken a bulk of a lot of these affordable housing in our center. What is wrong with one building that looks, it's affordable in a different sense, but yes, it is nice. But we have taken a bulk of the other really affordable housing in Mo'olili, which has caused a lot of disruption in so many places. And I've been living here for 60 plus years. Why not in Kaka'ako? Why not in Ward? Why didn't people uprise there? We have a lot of local places in Ward, and look what it turned into now. Nobody says anything about those places. But one building, nice building coming up in Mo'olili, and all of a sudden everybody's against that. How come nobody attacks the other places? That's my question.
We're against them too.
We got to move to Kevin Hurdle.
Thank you, Chair. Just to piggyback on the last one, I care about Mo'olili and McCully because that's where I live. Okay? Kaka'ako can do what Kaka'ako does with their board, they take them to with that. To the people who are here tonight, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Please come to every meeting. Every meeting. This is how you stop this. Come to every meeting. We need you guys' voice, specifically the residents. We have been missing your voice. Come to every meeting. It is asinine to me how we have a conversation about wanting to support even people such as teachers, and what they deserve and how they deserve to live. No teacher can afford a $600,000 home for one family. No teacher. So, saying that we want nice things in our neighborhood, we all want nice things in our neighborhood, and I live in a nice neighborhood. Nothing taken away from it. But saying that we want nice things in our neighborhood is different from saying we want certain type of people who can afford to live in our neighborhood. Mo'olili is a family area. It is the place where I have raised my son. It is where I have walked my son to school from Washington Middle to McKinley. This is a family neighborhood. This is not supposed to be a developer's paradise. And exactly what was brought up earlier, in 10 years, all those homes can now be non-affordable and it's going to drive up. And it's going to be very interesting if some people who think they can afford to live remotely now, watch how everything goes up and then they get pushed. I'm done.
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Perfect. I always hate calling member Hurd because he is so good. Thank you everyone who has come out. I really appreciate you being here. Our board has fought hard against this. Quite frankly, I don't know where the next fight is. I mean, unfortunately, this fight left me demoralized enough where I didn't rerun for board. Seeing you all there tonight, seeing the amount of people are on, I cannot begin to find the words about how encouraging this is. So I just really want to reiterate what Member Hurt has said. Start coming to every meeting, work with the union that you're working with, barrage Calvin Say's office and the other zoning members and the other council members. I don't know if where the process this is going right now, how much can actually be done, but change needs to happen, and it's this unionizing. It is this group of you all coming out and fighting for this and coming to talk to us that we need. So please stay engaged. I'm going to check out your website. I'm going to sign up to make sure I get the updates myself. But yes, please keep fighting.
Okay, we'll move on to Daisy. Oh, sorry, you cut out there. Was that it, Matt? You were cutting out.
Sure.
Yes.
So my understanding is that the developer is also here in person tonight and wanted to make a comment as well.
Okay, we're going to go to Daisy first, and then we'll go to the developer.
Thank you.
Daisy, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, everybody, because it's a team effort. We understand the displacement because you're not the only community. Guess what, Gwen? There's another affordable project within a mile from here by the Humane Society, and I don't know what their intention is, but there's another beautiful, affordable place that, you know, you could look into. But the thing is, this particular 43 stories, I can see from my house in Kapahulu. Just like the bridge on the Alawai, I'll be able to see it from my house without going out. The thing is that these people were not told. How would you like to be told 2 months in advance, you have to move out? That's not right. The developer needs to be a little bit more concerned about people because these people are being displaced. It's not like they can go to any place they want. They can't afford it. They need affordable housing. That has to be done. So just to let you know, there's going to be another affordable housing within a mile from this area. So there's circumstances, and it's not only there. I'm sure Kaimiki, Kapahulu, and other places will also have development. Just watch and see what the city decides to do. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the in-person. Thomas, or someone, developer was there?
Yes, he's distributing something. Just a moment.
So, hi, board members, chair. Basically, I'm Elton Wong. I work for Kobayashi Group. I've been.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, we're not picking up any audio.
Hello?
Alright, yes. Okay, that's now we do.
My name is Elton Wong. I work for the Kobayashi Group. I've been before this board back in February 2022. I've been before your board in October and I think also November. So to say that we didn't come before you and give you enough chance to hear the project, I think that's pretty false. We appreciate the Hungary Tenant Union and their care for our tenants. We passed out a little flyer that shows that, you know, basically what's provided by law to our tenants. And we have given our tenants not 2 months, but almost 352 days. We are providing assistance in terms of $1,500 plus 2 months of free rent. We have a person. It's way more than that. We didn't have to do anything.
We do want to leave time for everybody to speak.
We
have time. We need to leave time for everyone to speak.
Yeah, thank you. We do care for our tenants, and we have a person that's going to help and place tenants into housing that is elsewhere or even close by. And
How many specialists?
we have one specialist.
How many families?
We actually had there's 125 families.
Yeah. How
46 have already.
Sorry, you need to be speaking to me as the chair. We can't understand what's going on there.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
you can speak to me, and then if they have questions, they can speak to me out there.
There are 46 families that are already relocated. So we are in the process of working with 79 tenants to get relocated. Just some clarification. We did provide notice. We are not breaking any laws under the 201H. We followed everything to the T. We did have a gag order because of once we started into the 201H process, we were told not to speak other than public events. And we followed that. I think the rules should be changed so that we can work with our tenants more closely. Sewer is available. Traffic, having it in town actually helps the traffic. People are closer to where they work. Yes, when you add additional housing, there is going to be increased traffic. But having it in town is going to be a very big improvement to a number of lives, and people are all traveling from the west side. Building permit, we have not submitted our building permit, so you would not find that on the public record. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm going to go back to Cameron for your last turn, and then Matt for your last turn. Go ahead, Cameron.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say, starting off, one, I take great umbrage to, I think the quote was, they had communication with the board, so the board lied, false. Yes, you came before us, and we gave you several questions and several things that we wanted you to go back and get us direct answers to. We wanted certain issues resolved before, if we were ever going to support this plan. You never came back to us with those answers. Full stop. Nobody's on. It's sad, and I'm just speaking to my members here, not really to the general. So I just found it interesting. Rules, not because the rules need to be changed to help, but why not just be that best practice for yourself within your policy? Why do you need a law to change? Why can't you leave? Honestly, I would say the help of traffic. We've seen absolutely no empirical study that says that it's going to help with traffic. So if we're going to come out here making claims, I wish that we would have the facts to back this claim. I believe three boards all passed a resolution on this, on how we felt. Is that correct? I don't want to misspeak.
That's what I heard.
Okay, so in that spirit of three, this project is fraudulent. The constituents know it through and through. It could have been done a better way. It can still be done a better way. And I would encourage you to go back and find a better way to do it before you lose complete faith in this public community.
Okay, we'll move to Matt and then
Thank you, Chair. I just want to echo a lot of what Member Hurt was saying and correcting the record of what Alton said. No one on our board is suggesting that the board didn't, or that the developers didn't talk to our board, but rather there was no meaningful engagement and that the community's concerns were not meaningfully engaged. Just 2 points I want to make. First off, to Mr. Wong's point that he met with us, when I was the former chair of this board, I had a meeting with Mr. Wong and some of the developers in advance, and I asked for plans to be provided to us so I could share it in advance with the members, and I was particularly told they were not going to share that with me because they didn't want that going out in case plans changed. They never, to my knowledge, they never shared any of their presentations and plans with us in advance of a presentation so we could actually review it. I might be wrong the second time. Maybe they sent it out the second time, but I'm pretty sure that did not happen. Secondly, at that second meeting when they did come out in October or November, we specifically asked them not to move forward with the project unless they let us address meaningfully some of our concerns. And part of those concerns as to what we're seeing is the traffic concerns. Apparently a study was done, but we never saw a study. We don't know what the results of that study were. That was one of our biggest concerns about this project. We didn't want you to move forward. We were asking you to hold off. It felt like you were engaged, and then a month later, the resolution was filed with the city. So that's where our problem is, and I'm not going to let you misrepresent to this board or the other people in the neighborhood. And last point, community members, if you haven't already thought about it, I do recommend starting to reach out to the media and stirring this up. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. I applaud all of the tenants of Kapiolani Villages for coming out tonight. And, you know, I think it's so important, right, that everyone hears from those who are going to be directly impacted by the Kapiolani Place project. And, you know, Member Herbert just mentioned that it's really important to understand the facts. And there's only one fact that really is important to know for everyone, which is that there are fewer than 4% of the units are being offered for people under the area median income. And so that alone dispels the idea that this is in any sense an affordable housing project, because 96% of the units are serving the upper half of the income spectrum. So, you know, I'll just stop there, but I appreciate everyone who has come out tonight, and you know, keep up the fight, please.
Is there someone else in the audience who can speak? Here. In the physical location? No? Okay.
Chair, no, we do have a comment on the physical location. Had to run to unmute the microphone.
Okay. They can proceed.
Hello? Okay, cool. So first off, I just want to say a quick thank you to all the residents and supporters of Kapiolani Villages. And we're going to keep growing our numbers until we get change done. And so I have 3 comments I wanted to say. First off, to the neighborhood board. And, you know, I think that I appreciate you guys' support and sentiment, but, you know, we came here to solidify your guys' support, and we want your support to get this project stopped. And, you know, we're not going to stop here. We're going to go all the way to the top until we get what we want. Specifically to Calvin Say, who I spoke to directly last time. You know, I hope you do remember you from last time. You know, I asked you last time if you went out and talked to members of the community, if you know, were actually connected to members of the community, and I got no response. And I want to say that, you know, I have now. I've gone and met all these wonderful people and gone out with the community and talked to them. And, you know, what have you been doing this time? You've been doing the work and getting things done. What have you been doing? And, you know, last time you told me that they're supposed to rely on Section 8 housing for support. I told some of the members of the community, and I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. When the wait list for public housing is, you know, anywhere between 2 to 5 years, how is that supposed to make any sense? And, you know, if you want support from the people, if you want to do your job and, you know, maybe get your pay raise, right? You know, if you want to support the people, maybe stop taking bribes from developers and stop displacing communities you're supposed to be representing. And last off, I just wanted to, you know, talk directly at the developers since their representative from them is here. And, you know, I just wanted to point out the only time tenants have ever want anything in their favor was because of outside pressure, because they, the developers, are directly feeling that pressure. You know, how convenient was it that the tenants were notified about their eviction right after the news story broke, and oftentimes people heard about this before they were notified. How convenient was it that the $1,500 payouts were announced right after our first general tenant meeting? And, you know, I just want to say that obviously our strategy is working. We're putting pressure on you, and you're getting us, you know, what we deserve. And we're going to keep holding you guys accountable and keep pressuring until we can get whatever we deserve. Thank you.
Just as a response to the developer and some of the concerns, I want to show you how there's one person here in this room representing the developer, and there's, I don't know, 15, 20 people in the location. I want to show you the power of what it actually means to be part of a community, be in community, and be talking to folks. So, to the developer's claim that tenants are being given all these rights, yes. But when did we find out about it? I want to ask Auntie Donna, what time last night did they put a notice on your door giving us this information?
About 8 p.m.
Auntie Donna says 8 p.m. is when the developer from the management office came in the middle of the night and didn't knock, taped notices and letters onto people's doors. Now, Auntie Donna, who talks to her neighbor, what did we find out from Madison last night when we talked to her? Was it that Madison is also getting these benefits? Auntie Donna says, no, Madison's not getting these benefits. Not because she's not a resident there, but because her lease ends in August, not in September, so she doesn't qualify. So she's getting booted, and she's got to pay the rent. How do we know this? Because we talked to our neighbors. Pierre, what was the notice that you got yesterday on your door?
Basically saying that I had to move out in 120 days if I don't sign the lease agreement.
Yep, right.
Mine ended in June the 1st.
Pierre said that he got a notice that he would have to move out in 120 days yesterday, again, taped on his door, if he didn't sign the lease all the way up to September. It said, if he doesn't move out, he will have to pay, what was it,
I have to pay all the rent for June, the rent for July, and nothing was coming to me.
double the rent past September 30th, especially they're saying if he's a holdover tenant. Now, Nico and I also have knocked on his building's doors. Nico, we talked to some tenants yesterday who had moved in January. Can you tell us, Nico, whether they knew anything at all about the development?
My upstairs neighbors had no idea. They signed their lease in January. When I told them about the development, they had no clue. And then I asked them, do you know that we're getting our last 2 months of rent free if you're staying up until September 30th? They also did not know. And fun fact as well that I learned last night, when we got these eviction notices, my lease technically ended on August 9th of this year. But in email correspondence, multiple email correspondence, they said that we were allowed to stay up until September 30th, even if our lease ended before September 30th, for free for August and September. So why can they not directly talk to us and tell us all the same information? Why do we have to talk to each other and go knocking on each other's doors? You know, I'm glad to get to know my neighbors, but not under these circumstances.
This is what happens when you knock on every single person's door and have an actual conversation with the people living there. When you say things in the public, even neighborhood board resolutions. I didn't speak to anyone in this community that knew that the neighborhood board had passed a resolution against this project. You actually have to go into community and be in community with people to get information out.
Okay, we're going to need to summarize. We have a few other agenda items to get to.
Okay, last thing. I met Elton at a community meeting we held a few weeks ago, where he showed up with management and did not refuse to introduce themselves as part of the developers. The management refused to introduce themselves as part of representing anyone. They just said, hey, we're part of the community, we want to listen in. When we asked them to tell us who they were, they said no. Now I find out that Elton is a part of the development crew, which I knew already, but he didn't tell us. And so he's here today to tell us all these things and all these sheets of paper, but none of that is real because he has not, and none of the city council has not, Black Sands Capital has not, Kobayashi Group has not, Serious Asset Property Management has not had an actual conversation with the tenant. So that's all we're asking for.
Again, thank you for coming to speak before the board. That's, one of the main reasons we have these board meetings for the local affairs affecting our community. And I think it was really helpful to hear from you residents, that are directly affected instead of just, talking about, the project implications. So appreciate, the update and really hope that, keep us abreast, see what, the board can do as well as we move along. With that, we're going, members, actually, is there any objection to taking the Councilmember Say's agenda item out of order, since a lot of stuff tonight has involved the city council? Hearing none, I'm going to call council member Say or his office if there's anything under that report at this point.
Hi Tim, this is Brandon from Councilmember Say's office. He had to leave early, but we can take any questions. We have a lengthy report, which I'll email you tomorrow. We'll see you and Thomas, but we can take questions. Janelle is also on.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I assume that you're, gathering all the feedback from before this. But if there's anyone in the audience, board members with additional comment that hasn't been made already, can take those. Laura, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, Brandon, I'm happy to meet you. And Janelle, I know you're on the Zoom also. I just would like Calvin Say's office, Councilmember Say's office, to please investigate the adjacent property where people have been asked to move out. In other words, they're being evicted also. What is the developers group there? What are the plans? We'd like to know about the plans before anything is ever done there to our community. Please respond to anybody that's on the board or myself or any of the other individuals. Thank you very much.
Hi Laura, it's Brandon. Do you have the address or the name of the building?
These are all the newly refurbished buildings that are there. So I don't know the TMK, I'm sorry, but that is, I have been told by the residents there that they have been asked, they've been evicted also. So, and this is not in the Kobayashi group, unless the Kobayashi group also has tendrils there.
Okay, I'll look at the TMKs tomorrow and then I'll email you maybe to clarify if we have the right one and then we'll look into it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, Louis, go ahead.
I'm having a hard time with this 201H exemption that was created, and I really would wish that this was a perfect case that we would get some of the exemptions that was created, because I did put a link in the chat, and I'm just trying to be transparent that people need to know what the exemptions were, and one of them was a traffic study. So they didn't have to do a traffic study. They don't have to do a setback. These exemptions are pretty intense, and for the city council, and to hear about what happened during the campaign or whatever it was assumed, it's just heartbreaking. So I just wish that the council member would come back and just be honest with what exemptions was created for this development, so they can understand why, because they're asking questions and the answers is right in this document. So I think it's fair that the community, it's not that I'm for it or not for it, I just wanted to see some transparency on these exemptions, because the 201H doesn't require them to do any public community involvement, honestly. So, I mean, they may have come and all that stuff. So like you said, they didn't have to. I heard him mention that in the conversation that he didn't have to. And he's right, he didn't have to, because I'm reading some of these exemptions and he called for it. I just hope that the council member would come on and just be transparent on what council exemptions was done under 208, which again is in the link, so they can see it. I just want you guys to be transparent as far as the council member as well as the developer, because these people are asking questions that they should know about,
Okay,
This is Janelle, Councilmember State's office. I do want to sort of go off of what Louis shared on the 201H and just mention that the exemptions are separate from the development itself. The Kobayashi Group, Blacksand Capital own the property. They could build technically low-rise luxury apartments if they wanted to. That's the zoning requirements. Where the city's involved is the approval of exemptions. So certain exemptions such as increased density, increased height, setbacks, those are the things that went through the city council after it was already approved by the HHFDC. So I just wanted to clarify that. And I can put a link again to the resolution that shares all the exemptions that were passed by city council.
Mahalo. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to Lindsay, already now.
Tim, hi everyone, thank you so much for attending the meeting, being a part of the community. My only thought with all of this is whatever shut down the super ferry back in the day might be an avenue that is able to help with this building. It's something about not following the EIS process. And I don't know the specifics or the legalities of it, but it may be something to look into. Thank you.
All right, I see Joanne's hand up. Joanne, go ahead.
I may be the only one that likes this project, and I'm just asking this question. Why is everyone so concerned about this project, but no other project that has been developed, like I said, the transitional housings, we have a lot of those affordable homes, Kapiolani Village, one of them. We have like clinics. What's wrong on this project in this area? I'm asking why can't you go out further and build affordable housings in Hawaii Kai, Aina, Manoa, Kahama, let them go out there and have an affordable housing in those areas as well, not just here. We can, I'm not trying to go against, I understand it's hard to be a renter in this state. But you know, one thing is the government should not sell to foreigners, and they wouldn't have, if you sell to foreigners who don't live here, then the prices go up, because there's a lot of foreigners, Chinese, everybody, they're buying here, and they're not living here. That's the main problem why people can't afford anything here, is because they have people from foreign countries buying. Nobody living here should, if they're not living here, they shouldn't be able to buy anywhere here. That's why I said that would help with the prices of the housing. That's a big issue they have to take care of. And so I'm just saying that what's wrong? If Molina has a nice project, move on, take the project to other areas towards the east, not just our side, towards the east. I've lived here for 60 years. It's gotten really, really bad.
Order. Chair, point of order. This section of the agenda, we're supposed to be asking questions and comments for council member second.
I'm just keep saying, this is to convince about why you sell it to foreigners. Who sell the foreigners? That's the biggest issue.
They normally duck the cost of repairs and replace keys and utilities, but they turn it down, so I guess that's why they're not.
I don't understand, but okay, whatever you said. Doesn't sound right.
Well, I mean, he said normally they give you back your deposit when you know they deduct damages for keys and stuff like that. But they're not going to deduct that because they tear the place down. So they don't need the keys. They don't need if you
That's
put a
one
hole
way
in
to
the wall.
solve the profit margin.
Right.
Just destroy the profit margin and start.
The only thing they're going to deduct is your utilities, but he forgot to put that you got to pay for your parking stall up until you leave. And if you got pets, you got to pay for your pets too up until you leave, even though they tear down the place.
Well, at least they tell you when they're going to tear it down. Just don't drop it on there.
Yeah.
Just a courtesy.
Yeah, they put when they pull the gun on you and rob you, they let you know what they robbing you for.
Okay.
This is sick.
So
Yeah.
we did get through all
This is unbelievable. 2 months is ridiculous.
Those agenda items that remain is the regular.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Administration liaison, elected
They ain't even spending $1 million.
for those
And the
officials
state
and
just subsidized $60 million.
Send a report or want to submit a written report.
And they ain't
We
giving
will
us a
upload that into the Google Drive that's listed at the top of the agenda for those in the audience that also wish to see those reports or any materials
Time 130 residents.
intended to be handed out tonight. And I think that covers us. Just again, note the announcements on the agenda and
Peanuts. Application fee is $25.
It is.
Yeah. Every time you fill out the application fee is $25. That's the little slush fund.
At 6:30 p.m. virtually, and then.
I mean, they're destroying their short-term profit from the rent for like a long-term building. I don't know what. What are they building? Just $2 million things, or I don't know what they're building. Yeah.
Yes.
I have a hand raised from Bob Armstrong. I don't think he's spoken at all to this meeting.
Okay. Go ahead.
Excuse me, and I just wanted to get in before you have to close down your facility. I came from the downtown Chinatown neighborhood board meeting, which we meet at the same time, so I apologize for being in the last minute here. But I really did want to talk to you for just a minute or so about an organizational meeting that we're having on Saturday, the 19th of August, downtown. You probably have talked about in great detail about the concerns that all of us share about the neighborhood commission office, its staff being on other boards, about the commissioners themselves, about updating the neighborhood board plan, about the commissioners following the neighborhood guidelines and the neighborhood plan. All of these issues need to be started somewhere, and we decided to start some initiatives. So on Saturday, 19th of August, we're going to try to have a grassroots meeting for everyone on this island who's interested in dealing with how do we update Mayor Fosse's neighborhood plan and make this truly a grassroots organization and consortium so that our city council members are accountable to us. Again, that's Saturday, August 19th at 1 p.m. at 1152 Smith Street. That's the old Channel 14 television studio. It's now the new Life Center. There's parking at the city garage right behind the building, so it should be fairly accessible for everyone who comes at 1 o'clock at 1152 Smith Street in Chinatown. And I thank you for allowing me to get in here at the very end.
All right, thank you. So that wraps up our housekeeping and announcements agenda item. And due to time constraints, we'll defer all the others or check the Google Drive for the written reports from our elected officials and administrators. So again, thank you everyone for your participation.
Hey, Tim, can I say something before you leave?
Sorry, we're
just one thing.
We've had many opportunities, so we're just going to wrap this up now. And
I'm not going to join this meeting if nobody is.
Thank you, everyone, and we are adjourned.
Thank you, Tim. Night, everyone.
Night, everyone. Thank you.
Sorry, what's your name?
She just there? So she's just setting up.